Sometimes the pain in your life can be so severe that it causes spiritual blindness. Sometimes you can go through some issues that are so dramatic, so catastrophic, that God seems so far from you when he is right in front of you. Sometimes unresolved hurt can critically impair one's vision. May I parenthetically drop this nugget into your spirit. See, if you don't learn to deal with hurt, hurt will deal with you. If you don't learn to deal with your pain will deal with you. If you don't learn to deal with your broken heart will. The people assembled together at the pool of Bethesda. To translate it out of the Greek to mean the house of grace. To get rid of their ailment. The dilemma is that they were waiting on an urban legend instead of waiting on the Lord. In Isaiah, they tell us that them who wait. I got some Bible readers in the house. See, if my little girl was here, she would say, Daddy, what them do? They don't sit around passively. They would renew their strength. They mount up with wings like eagles. What else they do, preacher? They run and they don't get weary. They walk and they don't faint. Therefore, if you're claiming that you're waiting on the Lord, you can't sit around with your legs crossed and your arms folded looking at your sink coat. And doing nothing. See, so if you're waiting on God, whether it is for your family, whether it is for your marriage, whether it is for your kids, your health, or your finances, the first thing you're going to have to do is read God's word to renew your strength. The second thing you're going to have to do is put the word to practice in order for you to mount up with wings like eagles. The third thing you're going to have to do is saturate yourself in the presence of God so your tank is full so you can run and not be weary. And lastly, after your faith, you have developed your faith and life has knocked the air and energy out of you, you're going to have to know one more thing, man. You're going to have to know that without a doubt in your mind that God will make a way somehow. That was so deep you missed it. That God will make a way. All of us know at least one somebody who is engulfed in a sinful lifestyle. They operate life with blinders on. In other words, they want to do whatever they want to do. And when you tell them what God says about what they are doing, they don't want to hear it. Conversely, as long as you tolerate what they are doing, as long as you don't say anything about what they are doing, as long as you go along to get along, as long as you accept their sin and embrace their sin, they will continue to be blind. Some of us in here, in fact, act as if we are where we are because of our own efforts and abilities. Moreover, if it had not been for the grace of God, if it had not been for the mercies of God, if it had not been for the Lord who was on your side, send me a text message and tell me where would you be. Please, church, don't be blind. Recognize the Christ in your life. Give him the glory and give him the praise. Secondly, John, the author of this book, says that there were another group of persons that were there. He said those were people who were lame. At first glance of the text, you would assume that lame and paralyzed was the same. But in the author's mind, they were two separate in nature. Paralyzed is a diagnosed physical condition that we will discuss later in this sermonic presentation. However, lame has a crippling derivative. It is limitations and low expectations placed on a person's life because society didn't know what was wrong with them, but they knew something was wrong with them, so they just labeled them as lame. This is where we get the slang word lame, meaning somebody who does something uncool or dresses uncool or hangs out with people who are uncool. Preacher, you said all that to say what? Here it is. See, lame are the ones who have let their conditions name them. See, when you are given a name lame, it isn't a name based off your ethnic background, nor is it limited to your gender. Lame doesn't care about your economic position or the number of VIPs you know. However, to have this type of derogatory stigma or negative connotation placed on your life will rob you of a life that could be filled with possibilities. It snatches the vitality, hopes, and aspirations of tomorrow's faces of the future. See, when somebody calls you a lame, lame acts as a fire extinguisher to put out the flame that would eradicate positive change. That might be too heavy for some of you, but lame is simply letting your conditions or circumstances name you. Okay. Have you ever been around somebody who was talking about somebody else's shortcomings? Don't y'all play holy on me. See, the problem is you didn't know the person they were talking about, but you knew all their stuff. Conversely, when you finally meet the person in your mind, you saying, oh, you the one who drive a Beamer and a Benz and don't pay nobody no child support. Oh, you the one who got 6 kids with 5 baby daddies. Oh, you the one who got their house foreclosed on. Oh, you the one who got a child with Down syndrome. Oh, you the one who got their car repossessed. You the one who's battling cancer. Oh, you the one who just lost their mother. See, lame is being named by your conditions or your circumstances. Tell somebody, yes, I used to sleep around, and yes, I used to club, and yes, I used to drink, and yes, I smoked a little weed, and yes, I had my heart broken before, and yes, I had somebody play me before, and yes, I've been in an abusive relationship before, and yes, and sometimes I've been the abuser, and yes, I spent some time behind bars, and yes, I was strung out on drugs, and yes, I had a problem with depression. However, transitional word. That isn't how my story ends. Don't talk about me for where I am, because where I am is just my itinerary and it is not my destiny. See, don't name me by some stuff that had me hung up, but name me by the name of somebody who was hung up for my hang-ups. All I can tell you is that one day when I was lost, I found out Jesus died on the cross, and I know it was the blood. Is anybody else in here know it was the blood? Because I was sinking deep in sin, deeply stained within. But the master of the sea, he heard my despairing cry, and from the waters he lifted me, and saved am I. See, lame is being named by your conditions or your circumstances. See, the old folks used to say it ain't what you call, but it's what you answer to. And somebody should answer to being bold and beautiful. Somebody should answer to being smart, sexy, and saved. Somebody should answer to being college educated. Somebody should answer to being debt-free. Somebody should answer to having a strong family. Someone should answer to being a child of the King. Someone should answer to having a strong family. Oh, my God. To being the head and not the tail. Being redeemed. They should answer to being delivered. You should answer to being set free. Lastly, the author of the text says that there were persons who were paralyzed. These are ones who have had damage done to their central nervous system. You do know that the central nervous system is a collection of cells, tissues, and organs. Yes, sir. The central nervous system can very well be split into 2 separate divisions, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system, affecting temporary or permanent loss of sensation of voluntary muscular control. Simply said, paralyzed is when you have lost voluntary muscle control over certain parts of your body. Come on, preach. This eye-opening revelation was downright shocking to me. It hit me like a ton of bricks, Pastor Haley. I was spiritually hospitalized for weeks by this impenetrable, life-changing truth that speaks to us in this dispensation or the age that we're now in. On the other hand, we have just apologetically and unanimously agreed that paralyzed is the voluntary muscle control, loss of voluntary muscle control over certain parts of your body.
Come on, make it plain, preacher.
Now I'm stuck on stupid, trying to wrap my finite mind around the fact that we got people in the church, perhaps in the pulpit, maybe singing in the choir, maybe hangs out as a deacon or a trustee or an usher or greeting at the door. They read their Bible, they bring their tithes, they put $1 in the offering tray, and they may even come to Bible study. And every third Sunday of the month, they may even attend Sunday school.
Come on, make it plain. Put it together, preacher, put it together.
But they are still practicing premarital sex. Could it be that some of us, under the sound of my voice, have lost voluntary muscle control over certain parts